Okay, Cancer, we are taking a look at how to deepen love. Okay, so whether you're in a relationship or you're single, these are just the messages for how you can deepen your love in order to really either heal a relationship or attract a partner. These are just like looking at what are your blocks to love. Like what blocks are you showing up with, or what things might be hindering your ability to deepen love. Okay, and this is for whether you're in a relationship and you want to deepen that relationship, or if you are trying to get into the energy of deeper love in order to attract a partner. Okay, all right, so we have the Page of Wands, Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands, and Four of Wands. Wow, that's all wands. This doesn't happen very often. So it's always interesting to me when it does. Okay, so so Cancer, if we're asking the question like how do you deepen love, clearly the answer is passion, right? Which I find a little interesting because I feel like Cancer is very passionate. Well, Cancer is very emotional, okay? It is a water sign. So, and wands are not emotions, but I get this feeling that you are very much somebody who has a lot of passion in relationships. Okay, so let's see what this means for you. How does Cancer deepen their love? Well, so immediately, the Page of Wands to the Queen of Wands really, indicates, even though the Knight is not here, for me, it feels like a movement, a maturity, right? Not necessarily like a physical movement, but a maturity from the Page of Wands to the Queen of Wands. So I feel like the Page of Wands here is using her passion in a really very playful way, but at the same time, it kind of communicates a little bit of immaturity, especially when placed with the Queen of Wands, right? And the Queen of Wands is definitely more of the magic maker, right? Page of Wands, very playful, little bit immature. Playful is a wonderful energy, but if you have too much of it or you don't know when it's inappropriate, then it can kind of be a hindrance in relationships, right? It could make you come across as being a little bit immature. Whereas the Queen of Wands, she's still playful, but she's like, her magic is controlled. Like if you look here at this card, you can see, she's really like, she's containing fire within her hands. So she's the one who is manipulating and, has control over her passion. So she doesn't let it, just like explode without restraint or without control. She's very much in control of her magic, of her passion, of her fire. So I would kind of see this as, when you meet someone that you may feel this burning inside of you for this person, but you don't act on it right away. You keep it like contained, you keep it in check, because if you just come straight out with it, it could kind of push people away, scare them away in a sense, right? Like if your fire is kind of uncontained and uncontrolled, it can come across as a little bit of intense. And I think Cancer does have a tendency to be a little bit intense. So really the message here is like, if you feel fire for somebody, like keep it, keep it under control, right? Keep it managed, right? Because a fire that spreads uncontrollably just causes damage and destruction, right? But if you can, so I'm thinking of like a forest fire, major destruction, major damage, or a suburb, or those fires in California, right? Major damage, uncontrolled. But controlled in a fire pit, say, you can all sit around it and enjoy the warmth and enjoy the beauty of the shapes that the fire makes, right? And it's much more enjoyable. And the fire and the passion is still present, but it's not unharnessed. It's not uncontrolled. It's not, destructive, right? So, and if you already are in a relationship, I would say that, perhaps this uncontrolled passion might come across as hot and cold sometimes in your relationships. And so it's more of kind of like keeping more of a equanimous passion, right? Like not having so much intense moments of passion and then a withdrawal of like, nothing. Or, I think it might be a little bit confusing for a partner. Okay. So just kind of like really like keeping that intensity of yours, like controlled, under control, right? This is not saying to totally smash it and not allow it to express itself, but allow it to express itself in a way that is very controlled. Okay, this is your magic. You want to control your magic. Okay. All right. And I do feel like, that if you can, so see this fire here in the Ace of Wands, it is showing up here, like right at her third eye. Okay. So, this just this just further communicates that this fire of yours, Cancer, if you can keep it like really controlled and use it as a source of enlightenment for yourself, that really is just the magic that you can come forward with in a relationship. Okay. And it's definitely the magic that is of a higher power that your partner will really recognize, right? So you want this magic of yours to be your power, not your downfall, right? You want your ability to control your passion and your fire, to harness your passion and your fire, to absolutely be your magic, right? Not your downfall. Okay. And that's what the Ace of Wands is saying here, because when you do that, it really brings you to a place of real stability in your relationship. The Four of Wands is all about stability. Sometimes people say the Four of Wands is the 1111 card, which for me simply means divine connection. Okay. And also number fours, right, in numerology are numbers of stability. So the Four of Wands is really a card of stability. Sometimes it's a card of marriage. It's definitely a card of celebration, right? So for you, Cancer, how do you deepen your love? You really learn how to control that fire and that passion that you feel in relationship and harness it in a way that it becomes your magic. It becomes your enlightenment. It becomes, the thing that really like brings you into a higher space within romantic connection, as opposed to the thing that kind of uncontrolled becomes a real hindrance because it makes you come across as immature. It could also this uncontrolled passion can cause you to act too quickly without having proper information, or act too quickly that in a way that really just overwhelms another person. And so, but harnessed, it is like your path to this much deeper, much more enlightened, and of course passionate relationship, which I know is something that you crave, especially from the, being the emotional body that you are. But really learning how to harness your passion is really going to bring you to a place of much more stable relationship. That is something that is definitely, more grounded and creates a more stable, infrastructure and a more stable foundation that grows into something that is lasting, right? Whereas acting on the passion without the maturity just kind of puts all the fire up front, but doesn't necessarily create the stability so that passion can continue throughout a very, long lasting, permanent, forever type of relationship. Okay, it's like don't spit out all your fire right in the beginning and then have nothing left to sustain something that can that is worth sustaining. Okay. All right, Cancer, this is the message for you and how to deepen your love. Hey, if you like it, let me know. Give me a comment, share. I could really use the support in the sense of knowing that people are actually liking this or enjoying this. Okay? Alrighty. Thank you. Love you lots. Bye-bye.